strictly tackle, or do you have any plans to give him a shot at guard like you did Sharpie?
I think he's pretty much a tackle, John. Yeah, I think he can play both sides. Great guy, really smart, works hard. Obviously his dad is a coach, and we were thrilled to be able to go up there and get him. We made a couple moves today that we were happy with, and that was one. We were able to go up there and get a guy that we really targeted and we liked at that spot.
Brandon, let's try this.
Okay, let's see. Can you hear me, Coach?
We got you this time.
All right. Coach, about John Reed, do you see him playing it more so as a slot corner or as a guy on the outside? And what do you like most about it?
Yeah, I think he can do both. I do think that he can play on the inside, though. I think he's got good quickness. He's got good toughness. I've known John for a while. When I was at Penn State, he was a sophomore in high school and came to our camp, and I think we offered him a scholarship right there. Really smart guy, comes from a great family. But I think he can. Yeah, I think he can do both. I think he can play on the inside, and I also think that he'll help us on special teams. So I thought that was another guy that we felt really good about, that we had targeted and we were really hoping would be there, and he was there.
Christy?
Were there was it different for you this season because you were in the first year as the general manager of the team, and were there additional challenges because of the virtual nature of the draft this year?
I would say just just really going with the first question, Christy, we have a great team here. I've said it and I'll say it all over and over. I really mean it. Myself, Jack Easterby,
1 minute remaining, 1 minute.
Kevin Krakovic has done an unbelievable job with our salary cap and our contracts, and then Matt Bazergan and James Lipford relative to the draft and all the scouts. I mean, we just have a great team of people. I mean, we make decisions that are formed around a consensus. I think really that's what Bob McNair, that's the way he wanted it. That's the way Cal McNair wants it. And that's what we try to do. And relative to the virtual,
Rams has submitted a pick.
Minnesota
is now on the clock.
I wouldn't say that there were too many challenges. I do miss being in the meeting room where you can be face to face with somebody and put the film on. Hey, let's watch this guy. We weren't able to do as much of that, but our technological team, Tim Bragg, Russell Joyner, I mean, they just do an unbelievable job of setting us up. There was a setup at my house, set up at Jack's house, set up at Kevin's house, set up at Cal's house. There's so much that goes into it from the technological standpoint.
Involving picks that are not currently on the clock. Please check the trade report.
Aaron Reese?
Well, you mentioned Heck obviously being the son of a coach, and John Reed seemed like a pretty sharp guy when we talked to him. Those are obviously qualities that are always good, but this year specifically, with the stuff you mentioned about rookies maybe not making a huge impact, does the profile, the type of guy you're looking for, change at all, just considering the circumstances?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think that we took a lot of that into account when you look at Ross and John and Charlie and John Reed and Isaiah Coulter. I mean, you're talking about, mature guys, guys that have overcome adversity in their lives, guys that understand work ethic, guys that understand how important practice is, guys that understand what it means to be a good teammate and be hungry and humble. And I think we got those type of guys with all these guys.
Aaron Wilson?
When you look at where your secondary is now, how competitive do you feel like it is with the additions you've made and kind of where things stack up after free agency and now the draft?
Yeah, I like our team. I think that for this time of the year,
Rams are now on the clock.
Got good depth at a lot of positions. Certainly there's always holes that we need to fill and think about, but really like where we are right now. I think in the secondary, I was saying this the other day to you guys, I think there's versatility at the safety and the corner position. You have safeties that can play corner. You have corners that can play inside. Some corners can play safety, and a lot of those guys are really good special teams players. So I really like where we are right now. And, it's still incomplete, even though we've had the draft and free agency, there's still a lot of different things you can do relative to the roster, and we'll continue to grind on that and work. But I like where we are right now.
Sarah?
Bill, what stood out to you about when you recruited John at Penn State?
Yeah, we had camp, and Penn State camp, there's probably 3 sessions and 1,000 kids come to each session. And so what you try to do is you try to take some of the guys that you think are prospects and work them out, separately. And he was one of those guys. He was only a sophomore in high school from right outside of Philly. And so we took him onto a field and did some drills with them, just noticed right away his movement skills. This is when he was, 14, 15 years old. His ability to follow directions, his intensity, his seriousness. He's a good guy. We're glad we were able to have him. He went through some adversity there at Penn State, injuries and different things, but he came out last year and was highly recommended by James Franklin, and did a real good job last year at Penn State. We were glad to be able to get him.
Ari?
Hey, Bill, you added 5. Does that seem like the right number? You feel like that you filled the needs that you wanted going in?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that we're still working on the CFA process. We'll probably I don't know if we'll go all the way to 90, but maybe, maybe we'll go to 84, 85 guys. But yeah, we feel good about the numbers. We went into the draft with about 73, 74 on the roster, and we feel good about the numbers where we are right now.
Pat?
Bill, with the change in with you guys spread out, I know that you guys are well connected. How much has that free agent process changed with you guys not being in the same room, and how have y'all managed to get that all planned together?
Yeah, that's a challenge. I just left a Zoom call. I was on a Zoom call with Jack and Matt Bazergan and Lip and Tommy Hayden and those guys, and they're in contact with the scouts and the coaches, and we're trying to do a good job of talking to agents and players and trying to get the best guys we can get. Some of that has to do with money. How much can you pay a guy relative to how much another team is paying
remaining, 1 minute.
But our guys are communicating really well. We're just not all in the same room, so some of it's text messages, and the Zoom's been huge. I mean, the ability to Zoom and have contact like that's been really important.
McLean?
Bill, what position would you have liked to have gotten that you didn't, and how active will you be with free agents, considering there's more veteran free agents, considering there's more than 100 who haven't signed?
Yeah, I mean, look, we targeted certain guys in the draft, and obviously we didn't get all of them, and you never do, but we were able to get the 5 that we really liked, and feel really good about that. I do think that's a good point that you're making relative to the free agents that are still out there. I mean, that's what I was saying to Aaron. There's still a lot of opportunities to build the roster in different ways, as we head on down the road here. That's why I'm not sure we'll go all the way to 90, John. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll stick at 84, 85, 86, and leave a few spots open and see what happens when they tell us we can go back to practice.
Aaron Wilson?
Yeah, Bill, when you look at the offensive line, how do you feel about your competitive level with the interior positions, especially at the right guard spot? Do you feel like is Zach your guy, or do you think you're going to have some competition there for him?
I mean, Zach's played a lot of good football for us. They have Zach there. Obviously, Sunil has played at that position. Greg Mance can play at that position. Feel good about, for this time of the year, again, it's incomplete, but for where we are post-draft, feel good about our offensive line, where we are and our depth there. And we'll continue to try to look to add to it. We're talking to a couple guys in the CFA process here and things like that, but feel good about where it's at for post-draft right here.
Okay, we'll take 2 more guys. Aaron Reese.
Bill, you traded down twice today. Is it just a matter of kind of how the board falls, or some years maybe you look to trade down more than others, just depending on what your draft capital situation is like?
Yeah, sometimes it's really probably year to year. I mean, every year we've made trades, obviously over the years we've made some very important trades, trading up, when Rick traded up to go get Deshaun Watson, that was a big trade, So we've made trades up and down. I think it's, the team calls, or maybe you call the team to go up because you really like a player and you've got enough, firepower to go up and do that, then you think about doing it. I think trading down, you have a brick of players and you think that, you'll be able to get a couple of those guys. Maybe you go down to gain a couple more picks, then you do it. I think we have a great, cannot emphasize this enough, the team of people we have working on this that advise us as to the direction we should go. I mean, then we have, obviously Jack and Matt and James, and then Kevin submits the pick or submits the trade, or Russell Joyner and Kevin talk to us about the value of the trade from an analytics standpoint. So it's a team effort.
All right, Elwin, you can close this out.
All right, Bill, as far as what you got in free agency earlier and the trades you made and what you got in the 5 picks in the draft, what positions do you feel like now you want to go after additionally?
I don't know. I mean, I think for this time of the year, I think our depth is pretty good. I mean, I think that, at every position. I mean, you go through the secondary, you go through the inside linebacker spot, outside linebacker, defensive line, quarterback, running back, offensive line, tight end, wide receiver. I mean, I think we'll add some guys relative to the free agent, the college free agent process that we're working on right now. But, I think for where we are right now, we feel pretty good about where we are, and then we'll continue to build if we see somebody out there that we think can really help us. We'll definitely continue to build.
All right. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.